Dee Dee's really what I call an actor's actor. Well, what I mean by that is acting is incredibly difficult. I mean, just being given lines 6 months previous to filming and having to memorize them, and then when you get on set having to say them, and sometimes while saying them having to move as well. It's extraordinarily stressful, taxing and difficult. And I've actually heard say that scientifically proven to use almost an eighth of the brain. When you're doing something extraordinarily stressful, like I don't know, having to watch an Anthony Will Thompson cookery program on television, or being forced to listen to Emma Bunton, it helps to have people around you to support you through the painful process. And so when I say Dee Dee's an actor's actor, that's entirely what I mean, but at the same time it couldn't possibly ever sum it up. So it's both all of that and none of that, with very little in between.
And I heard Dee Dee is tied up at the moment, which is why we're
Dee Dee is tied up, but I've heard that he likes it like that. It's something that we had to get over while working on SUPERCOP, that Dee Dee does require a stringent diet of sadomasochistic activity between the hours of 10 AM and 2 PM. He also needs time for his bowels, which for a human take up almost 2/3 of his entire abdomen. Well, actually I have exciting news for the viewers. SUPERCOP is being turned into a film. The film of SUPERCOP. What can I tell you? I can't give too much away. What's happened in the sort of last 5 years is that I've been working on my music. Dee Dee's been working on Miss Celia Thigh from Norwich, and we don't like to meet up too often. I think that there are still a lot of scars from the series, with me physical, with him, you know, non-existent and partially emotional. But what are partial emotions? And so therefore, you know, when we get together it's unpleasant, it's very often irrelevant, and it's normally to you know, celebrate the opening of someone's legs, or you know, a new hairdo. So on the occasions that we have met up though, we have spoken moderately indifferently about SUPERCOP as a series, and the potential that isn't there at all for a feature-length outing of the series. We've had, unlike other TV shows turned movies, Serenity and Firefly being one, we've had literally no demand whatsoever for a SUPERCOP movie. There's been no internet buzz, there's been no demand whatsoever. We have, however, had threats. One actually came in the form of a stuffed badger from someone from Nottingham. I've never been to Nottingham, so you know, I'm not one to judge. We have decided, because both of us are failing at everything else, to do a film. So that's what we're doing. We're putting together a film. The film's going to be basically like a feature-length episode of SUPERCOP. What we've liked is these films that are either sequels or trilogies, or as you say, films from other TV series, which, while being satisfactory on a visual scale, actually leave the audience feeling fairly hollow, indifferent, and you know, as best as we can, suicidal. So what we intend to do is include the elements that everyone likes from SUPERCOP, the bushes, the running into the bushes, the action sequences, the manic tea guy, Ernie Minks, for example, and possibly a few surprise special guests, although I don't want to give too much away, but make the whole experience as adequate and hollow as possible, because I think that's where the real money is today, in movies. You take something an audience loves, cake for example, and you make it diet cake. You take something that people really like or that's tasty, like carrots or mushrooms, and you make them organic carrots and mushrooms. So in other words, it's twice the price, half the flavour, and in fact 2/3 the size. And that's kind of where we're going with the film. No. The film won't wrap up anything at all. The film will be... Well, picture this. I'll tell you what the film will be, and I'll use an analogy if I can. Imagine a child lost in the snow. It comes across a midget with a club foot, holding several strands of celery, maybe singing an Eastern song of some kind. And the midget takes the child under its wing, because as we know, midgets have wings, albeit them stubby ones. And the midget takes the child into a XXX rated theatre and shows it some early Super 8 footage of Steve Guttenberg. That kind of sums up, in an analogy, what the film's going to be.